Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today I've got Deborah McCombie of DXDMedia joining me, my lovely friend and client who's eventually been persuaded to join me here. So thank you for coming on, Deborah.
Thank you for twisting my arm, Brenda.
It's all about getting comfortable being uncomfortable, isn't it? That's how we grow, getting out of your comfort zone. So thank you very much for stepping out of that today.
Thank you for asking me. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. Thank you.
So usually when I'm interviewing someone, I don't really know much about them, and I could introduce you, but I think I'll just let you do it as I do with most of my interviewees. Tell us about Deborah McCombie and DXDMedia.
Well, I'm Deborah. I live in Stonehaven, just south of Aberdeen. I've lived here for, I don't know, 15 years or so. When I first moved up to Scotland for a job in the oil and gas industry, I started DXDMedia on a whim. I took redundancy from my job. As you know, a lot of great things happen when you're put into an unusual situation. So I started DXDMedia because I genuinely didn't want to have a space on my CV whilst I was looking for a replacement role, and things just kind of snowballed from there. And I look back on the last 6-7 years and think, wow, that's been amazing. So that's where I am. That's how the business started. What we try and do, what we do is we engage with senior leaders and get them to think about their marketing, get them to go back to the marketing basics like your vision, your values, and form those foundation marketing principles in order to create long-term marketing. It's very easy to do marketing on the surface, and what I mean by that is, yes, I can write a social media post, but that doesn't actually give you any strength, any depth. What we try to do with senior leaders is challenge them to go back to what made them great, help them with their vision, their value, help to shape their culture, because I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Stephen Bartlett last week at the music hall, where he said, culture is something that you get what you deserve. So you've got to lead it from the front. So we're not a marketing agency that specializes in all of the newfangled TikTok and Facebook ads and all of that. We are traditional marketing people, and they're the kind of people that we seek to work with. Yeah, I guess. I should trademark that, shouldn't I? The Accidental Business Owner podcast, when I get round to doing that.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Yeah, and actually, okay, if anybody's watched any of these videos or any of my podcast interviews, lots of people get into it accidentally.
Oh,
yeah, so common. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, what have you learned about yourself over those 6 or 7 years then, Deborah?
Well, actually, I mean, I always thought that if I put my mind to anything, I could achieve anything. But actually, if I, look back 180 degrees, I can see that actually I am really that resilient, dedicated person. I've also realized that treating everything like a project extends into my personal life. So if I've got a personal issue, I try and think, right, well, if I had the work Deborah hat on, how would that one do? Because I like rules and I like boundaries and I like goals. One of my really, really good friends said to me, I'm one of the few people that she knows that sticks to goals. And so that's what I found out about myself. I like goal setting. I like sticking to rules. I like doing things in a certain order. That doesn't come without its challenges, of course, but that's what I've learned about myself. Actually, if I put my mind to it, I'm pretty resilient. I can turn my hand to anything.
Brilliant. Yeah. And what have been the challenges then? Starting and growing your business?
Well, you'll know this, Brenda, because when I first met you, when we were in our 20s, when I first met you a little while ago.
Last year.
Last year. Oh, yes, last year. When I first met you, I was very, very, very adamant about, look, I'm just doing this for a few years. I don't really want to get very large. I just want it to be me and a couple of odd people that I bring in to support. So I guess the first challenge was giving myself a talking to, saying, you know, this is a really good business. This could turn into something great only if you allowed it to. And the only way I could allow myself to do that was to surround myself by people such as yourself, who made me realize that being so narrow in the vision for what this business could be was actually not a great idea. So once I've had a word with myself, the next challenge was, how do I scale? How do I make this a business that can, in the words of ActionCOACH, run without me? So that's been my biggest challenge, is scaling up. And scaling up comes with other challenges like time management, which I was a bit rubbish at, but there's amazing tools that you've got these days to help you make that transition much, much easier. So yeah, biggest challenge once I got out of my own way was to scale and find good people.
I love that mindset change though, Deborah. You know, definitely. I talk about, we've talked about that a lot together, how you went from just, you'd created yourself a job.
Yes.
Rather than a business. And lots of people do that. They just get to a certain level that they've replaced the job that they had, and now they work for themselves.
In that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny, until I remember you mentioning that to me, saying that to me, I didn't really realize that that's what I'd done. And I was working really, really hard. And there's that phrase you always use, you know, if you don't bring on people, all you're doing is, well, you're replacing you should pay a salary. You know, you really should pay money out to free time up to grow. And with your help and help of countless others, I've managed to sit back, think, what do I really want?
So how much have you grown from you? And I think you had maybe one other that was supporting you first started working together. How many now?
I have 10 lovely women who have joined the DXD media movement. I have, apart from one who is an employee, and she came to me via the Kickstarter program, where you give a job to somebody that's on universal credit looking for a role. And Maya came to me last year. She was really only supposed to stay 6 months, and 18 months, almost 2 years later, she's still here doing an amazing job, taking away from what I was doing some of the good admin-y stuff. It was tricky to give up some stuff. I'm not saying that bit's easy, but if you want to grow, you have to know which roles to give up. So I have one full-time member of staff, and I have writers who are contractors. They're all contractors, but I feel like they put me first. I really do feel like that. They're really good friends, which is a challenge sometimes when you're really good friends with the people that you work with. But there are 10 of us, and I think we do an amazing job for our clients.
So let's talk about how you support that team, because they're diverse skills, diverse people, and in diverse geography.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
how does that work for you?
Well, we are a virtual business. We are online, and I have my team members are in Edinburgh, in North Yorkshire, Hampshire, Essex, Warwickshire, all over the place. And so Zoom and Teams are used quite a lot. I check in with them every single week, always on the phone, because sometimes we need urgency, and we WhatsApp, etc. So but I think one of the best things that's happened, and this has only happened in the last year, September, is I recognized a need for our processes to be easily accessible. I found that when I had a certain way of doing things, and whilst nobody likes to be micromanaged, even when you're a contractor, you really want to be told, this is the outcome I want, this is the days you've got to do it, don't care how you do it. But we still needed some process, some do's and don'ts. And so what I did was I sat down with my coach, which was you, and together you helped me with your action coach background to create a set of processes for my business. And we had an intensive 6-week program where you helped me talk through the basic processes. And then I went to my team and went, this is what I need you to do. Write down everything you do. Actually, you know what it reminded me of? Years ago, when ISO 9001 first came in, and all of the auditors would come in and you needed to write down how you did what you did. So it was a bit like that process we went through with my business.
I guess the ISO 9001 thing, those were usually slightly bigger businesses than
huge businesses. But having worked through ISO processes with the companies I have worked with, I saw that there was a value in them. As long as people did what they said that they did in the processes, it was no good. I remember an auditor saying, look, if you just do A and do B, please don't write the process that you do. You know, if you do A and B, don't write A1, A2, A3, that you never do. It's not about being the best in the class at this. This is actually what you need to do. So with that mindset, with you and you know, the Action Coach principles, we came up with the processes that needed to run DXD Media.
I'm thinking about it from another perspective, actually, because I worked in an organization that had ISO 9000 and whatever, and the documents there, the processes were written to gain the accreditation, and they weren't then shared with new staff that came on board, and so they didn't actually follow the processes that they created.
No, they didn't. But being in such a small business and the geographic issues that we have, I wanted the team to know, for example, that when you send emails, I know this sounds really silly, but put the name of the client first and foremost in the email, because actually then we all know who we're talking about, especially when we're all dealing with 20 different clients, because our work is very similar for everybody. It is similar, but it's not the same. And so if I get 10 emails a day saying social media approve, you know, posts, I'm gonna want, you know, give me a hand, give everybody a hand, tell us that it's for whichever client it is. So you're right. And so we created this form of processes, and then with my marketing head, it was like, I need to make this accessible to everybody. So I gathered them all together and I created what I'd like to call my playbook. I did some research on what people called their process manuals, and they just seemed a bit kind of bleh. So found playbook. I just felt that worked well with us at DXD Media. And so we created our first playbook, and I've just released version 3, so we must be 18 months into this, because I try and create a new update every 6 months. So with your help, we created the processes with my marketing background and my team's marketing background. We pulled it all together and made it a gorgeous document.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. So, and then that's referred to on a daily basis by the team.
Absolutely. What I have found since we've developed the playbook is that they don't come and ask me questions anymore. The first place they go is to the playbook. And if it's not in the playbook, then they come to me and ask the question. And then together we decide whether or not it needs to be in the new playbook. The first playbook I did, Brenda, had 50 pages, and the last one has got 99. So there are lots of processes. And maybe I maybe need to do a volume 1 and a volume 2.
that might sound a bit overwhelming, actually, but only some team members only look at certain parts of it, I guess.
Well, the way I've structured the playbook is the person who runs our operations, she can look at all of them because she needs to have an overview of what everybody does. But if you're a client services manager and nobody's named in the playbook, if this is a job title centric document, if you're a client services manager, then all you need to know are the client service manager roles. If you've not done something for a long time, like our client services manager uploads jobs onto LinkedIn, which is a free job onto LinkedIn. That's really tricky. I don't expect anybody to remember how to do that, but it's in the playbook. If we've got an SMS e-shop campaign to get out on behalf of a client, I don't expect anybody to remember that off heart, but you can go in there and see what the process is. So it's set up by, I've got two sections, the generic DXD media processes, which are how we track our time, how we distribute jobs, how we onboard clients and new people. And then there's a section which is a client focused. So if you don't work for ActionCOACH, you don't need to look at the ActionCOACH processes. So it very much is, you only need to look at the pages that you need to look at.
So what have been the benefits then? Have there been benefits to your customers of having all these processes within DXD?
I wouldn't say that they will have noticed very much, if I'm honest, because it's not for them. This is for us to make us much quicker, and it's to make our time much more. It's about the time. We could do things quicker. So I wouldn't have thought the clients would have noticed anything, but I know we get through more work. We seem to be much more, what's that word? We're just, output is much more because we're not wasting time phoning me and not getting me and trying to figure it out because they're all there.
I would imagine, though, that there's a consistency in the level of delivery that comes from having the processes to refer to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's like McDonald's, isn't it? McDonald's is all about their process manuals.
Yeah, you're right. I think I would have thought that my team did those things that were customer facing consistently anyway. I just think because there is no need to, that there's time, they get back more time. Perhaps there's been an improvement in quality. Well, of course there's been an improvement in quality, but I hadn't really considered it rightly or wrongly from their point of view. I was really trying to give myself some more time so I could find more work for my team, so that we all became, there was a bit more profit to share around.
What's been the personal benefit to Deborah of having this?
Benefit to Deborah is more time. I can take time off. First time I've been on a holiday this year where I only looked at you're a business owner, so you have to look at your email, but I'd gotten it down to an hour a day. So that was when I was having a cup of coffee and a croissant out on the patio you know, just listening to the sea. I don't live near the sea. I was on holiday. That's been the benefit for me. I remember before the playbook, it would take days. You know, we would go on holiday and I'd still be on my computer. It wasn't much of a holiday for me, and my husband wasn't that impressed either. So yeah, time back to you know, the reason I'm in business is to give myself the opportunity to do the things I want to do. And going on holiday without any interruptions is one of the things I want to do. Playbook has enabled that.
I don't think you were actually having holidays. I don't think you, it's not really, you know, you were going away maybe, but you weren't, the actual holiday wasn't what I would describe it as.
You know, it was working from home with a different scenery. That's probably more like what it was. That was probably more like what it was. So yeah, that's the best thing, you know. Yeah, work day with a beach view was before the playbook.
Right. So now let's move on to the shameless plug of our collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was your thought process really that came up with the Operations Mastery programs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to just share how that went?
Well, those of you not familiar with ActionCOACH might not know there's a quarterly meeting where you're encouraged to think about your wildest dreams and what you would really like to achieve in the following 90 days. And just trying to think about how I could make my life a bit easier. I called Brenda over because it was Brenda's meeting, and I said, how about it, me and you, kiddo, how about we turn this into a product that we can bring the ActionCOACH structure and learnings about how to create the best processes for your business, and then add in a splash of DXD media where we make the process manual, something that everyone would be joyous in looking through. It not something cumbersome that's kept away in a drawer under lock and key, something that needs to be part of your daily work life. And so I asked if you would participate. You said, yeah, that sounds great. And so that's how it was all born. So, you know, thank you for agreeing to come on the journey with us.
Love a collaboration. I'm a people person, and yeah, working from home on your own can get, yeah, it's great to be working with someone else that and bouncing ideas off and coming up and come up with an amazing 3 products for businesses like yours and mine, and
absolutely,
and much bigger as well.
And I feel, you know, I'm very excited about DXD Media. Of course I am. But I'm excited in a different way about this one because it is a product that I think has a use. I was listening on the radio this morning about innovation, and people create products that there is no place for. And those are the ones that kind of don't go anywhere. But I genuinely feel that this has legs because I've been where the accelerator program is, which is the creation of 4 of the cornerstone programs, 4 of the cornerstone processes to run your business. The navigator program, which is the one that we effectively did, and we called it Navigator, great name. And then, of course, we also believe that where there's choice, that makes for a better program. So there's another bespoke program for bigger organizations. But I think Accelerator and Navigator are absolutely what anybody needs just to get out of the blocks, you know, and we'll help them run the first 40 yards of the sprint, and we'll give them the tools and the technique to cross the 100-meter dash line. God, I was thinking about Usain Bolt for some reason. Or Alan Wells, my favorite 100-meter runner.
So yeah, operationsmastery.co.uk. Yeah, if anyone wants to find out more about it, the one-day workshop for small businesses, or the 10-week program for larger businesses, or bespoke for even bigger. But anyone that wants to scale, is in a similar place to where you were, wants to grow and wants to put the processes in place so it feels less chaotic.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that the accelerator program, which we're having the program is going to run on the 22nd of November, so in a month or so, or less than a month or so, is really for businesses that have got between 1 and 5 employees, or 1 and 5 people that regularly work for their business. And I would say that the Navigator program is for any business of any size, because it's almost all of the processes that you can speak through with Brenda in the 6 weeks. So that's the technical part with Brenda, finding out what all the processes are. And then the second part is me and my team, where we help you to, if you haven't got your key messages, etc., we help you formulate them. We help you on the softer side of it, so that what you've got is a document that can go to every member of your team, so that they know they've got a place to start. It's always about a place to start, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and help them with the skills to create it, and then the first playbook maybe 20, 30, 40 pages, and the version 3 will be 100. So once they know how to do it, then there's always that the Kaizen, continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
When you create these documents or these processes, that's not it. It's not, there's no such thing as perfection, because there's always going to be small improvements that come from the team members or from your customers, I guess, as well, and little things that keep getting improved.
That's right. It's been an interesting journey, the operations mastery journey, creating a product from scratch, doing all the marketing for it, and remembering to love the time that you're spending doing it, because all too often we just don't spend enough time enjoying, hate the word journey, but you know what I mean. We don't spend enough time doing that. So yes, DXD Media is good. Operations mastery enables DXD to be better.
So what does the future hold then? What does the next 5 years look like for DXD Media?
Well, I think I would like to put somebody else in at the top of DXD Media, so that I could concentrate more on the strategy and the things I really enjoy doing. I think I need to carve out some time for operations mastery, because I would really like to feel that we are together running an operations mastery accelerator course once a quarter, and once a quarter we have a navigator course running as well. And the controller course, one of those a year would probably be fine, because that I'm under no illusion that will take some time and effort, because that's actually quite a big one. So it's to keep growing, it's to keep growing the playbook, it's to keep learning, it's to keep reading the right kind of books, it's to keep my feet on the ground, and it's to do what I can to have the experiences I want for all of the people around me.
Oh, lovely. Deborah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Business Spotlight today. It wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, was it?
No.
Me having a blather.
Yes, it really did feel like that at all. Really did feel like that. So thank you very much for making it a painless experience.
Almost enjoyable. I'd like to think it was enjoyable.
Yes, I guess so when I got going. But no, look, you're not inviting me on anything else at the moment. I need to take a deep breath and watch it back. Make sure I wasn't fiddling with my hair too much. I'm a hair fiddler, as you know.
Thank you so much, Deborah.
No worries. Thank you. Bye, Bren.